So when I think of Minecraft, I don't think of survival. I mean, most of you might. I mean, if you're following the channel, you probably don't, because my channel is mainly creative. But I want to talk about the creative side of the game today and how it can bring you from a kid that just likes Minecraft, you think it's pretty cool, all the way into a potential career, because that's what I'm doing right now. In April of 2023, I graduated with a degree in architectural engineering, not architecture. Architectural engineering, it's different, but it all stemmed from when I bought an iPod when I was 12 years old. And the only reason I wanted this iPod Touch is so I could download Minecraft Pocket Edition. And then eventually I'm like, it'd be pretty cool to make a city. So I did that, and I built one city, I built two cities, I built three cities, I built airports. They were complete garbage, but I was a kid, I was having fun, I was getting my creative energy out somehow, because paper and pen, not really my thing. I did enjoy creating and drawing on paper sometimes, but I felt that 2D wasn't enough for my brain, and just being able to have that 3D aspect of your creativity just brought it to an entirely new level. Now, I used my iPod Touch pretty much every day for about two and a half, maybe 3 years. And once I got into high school, I think I was in grade 9. So I bought my first desktop. I think it was $450 and it came with a keyboard. So it was the absolute cheapest computer that money could buy. But I bought it because, I mean, I watched Minecraft YouTube videos. I watched Corellis. I watched all these YouTubers that were building these really cool things, and they were all on the computer. They were all on Java Edition, and I was on Pocket Edition. And I'm like, well, if I get onto Java, then I can have all these extra tools. The worlds are infinite, and you can go on multiplayer and then work with all these other people. And since you had that community, you could collaborate with people, and then the projects became more and more complex. Now, this is about when I'm 14, 15 years old, and something that I noticed is that you're building a better world. So at the time, I was still, of course, living with my parents. I grew up in the suburbs of New Brunswick, which, for those of you that don't know, that is a province on the east coast of Canada. But living in the suburbs of New Brunswick, it was not very walkable, but compared to a big city where you can go out, you can walk to a grocery store, you can go to a cafe and then walk back home within, I don't know, a 15-minute walk. That wasn't a thing. But as I continued to build, I sort of noticed that I was creating an ideal world. Of course, I was replicating a lot of things that I saw around me and places that I did visit. But at the time, to me, ideal meant more of a walkable city, even though I didn't really realize it at the time. And as I continued to build, I used references like Google Maps and all these pictures and all these videos on YouTube, you know, all those walking tours, things like that, or just whatever you can find of places that you can't afford to or don't have time to visit, but you want to experience it. So using those real life references, I started to take bits and pieces and put them together and mesh them into what I was building to create this ideal world, if you will. And it sort of helps you realize what your built environment could be and what you're missing. Now, as I got older, about 16, 17 years old, I'm still in high school, grade 11, grade 12. I'm starting to realize that it's architecture that I like. Of course, you can kind of tell when you're 14, 15, but once you get to 16, 17, you're like, okay, I gotta go to college, I gotta go to university, I'm gonna have to have a career, make money so I don't be homeless. So you start thinking, okay, well, what do I like? So for me, it was architecture and urban planning. But the university that I was planning to go to, they didn't have anything like that. And the only place in the Maritimes that had anything related to architecture or urban planning was Dalhousie University in Halifax. But to get into that program, you need to complete 2 years of any degree, and then you switch in for your third and fourth year. So it doesn't really matter what you do. But I wanted to do something related to buildings, and I knew I wanted to stay where I was. So I chose to go into civil engineering. Makes sense, it's related to buildings. So that's what I did. In my first year, I went into civil engineering. But about halfway through, after looking through all the courses that I would be completing to get this degree, I realized it's not exactly what I want to do. So I started thinking, I'm like, okay, do I do 2 years of civil engineering and then transfer to this program in Halifax, or do I transfer universities? So I started looking online to see if I could transfer into an architecture program at a different university. And I ended up applying to the architecture design, architecture urban planning, and architectural engineering, which is not architecture. Now I'm about 18, 19 at this point, and I really wanted to get into architecture design because that's architecture. You design the buildings. But unfortunately, I didn't get in. Now, to get into architecture programs, you need a portfolio, which typically consists of drawings, your sketches, and I knew I was really, really creative, and I know that I'm really good at designing buildings, at least for my age. But the only medium I had that I was really good at was Minecraft. And I really struggled with the question of, do I use Minecraft in my portfolio for my application to this professional university program? And ultimately, I didn't. I made a portfolio that was really subpar with all my drawings, and my application got denied. And the reason I didn't use Minecraft to apply in my portfolio, because I felt like it was an insult to the profession. It's a video game. It's a kid's video game, or so I thought. And looking back, I regret not using Minecraft, because I think now I would have gotten in. But I didn't do it because it's seen as a kid's game. So instead of getting into the architecture design program, I got into architectural engineering, which is basically the same thing as building engineering, but there's more of the heritage conservation side of it. And there's a lot of structural elements involved as well. So I packed up my things. I moved to Ottawa to go to Carleton University in this architectural engineering degree. And I moved into a room where I shared this room with one person to start, and then they moved out, and then another person came in. But I didn't play Minecraft at all for about 8 months. I maybe opened it a couple times, but I never built consistently. I was sharing a room, and I mean, they can like see my screen and everything. And I was afraid of being judged, which is really stupid now that I think about it, because that's the thing that I loved the most. That was my creative outlet. So why would I let any sort of fear of judgment block me from that? Now, after those 8 months, I ended up moving into another apartment where I had my own room, which was great. And I started getting back into Minecraft because I knew nobody was watching. And I continued to build, I continued to create cities, I continued to create all these really intricate designs. And as I progressed through my degree, I was learning all these things about buildings that I didn't know before, of course. If I did, why would I be at university? But I took all these things and I applied them into my Minecraft builds, which made them more realistic, more complex, but I was still having this element of creativity where I had these really wild designs, but I made them grounded. And that's really when my Minecraft builds took off and started to go to another level. And at this point, I was an administrator, staff member, whatever you want to call me, on the current creative server that I play on, Cubes. And I like to think I'm sort of a leader in that community, although I can't really be the judge of that, but you guys can. And I noticed that I was able to answer more and more technical questions or even just general design questions with certainty. So COVID hit, I was doing my co-op internship. I was working for the government doing project management, and I wasn't used to having so much free time because I wasn't taking any classes. I was just working full time. So I thought, okay, what do I do with my free time? And I had a lot of people asking me very similar questions about Minecraft, about how to build and design cities. So I thought, okay, well, instead of typing out multiple paragraphs each time to answer these questions, why don't I just start making videos? So that's what I did. I made a couple videos, less so answering questions, but more making guides on how my creative process works and where I pull information from to make cities. But I'm linking Minecraft and real life because real life is my inspiration. But back in the day when I was using Pocket Edition, other people building in Minecraft was my only inspiration. You get older, 14, 15, you start to introduce real life. Oh, okay, well, they're starting to come together a little bit now. And now I'm at the point where I feel like it's my responsibility to take things that I've learned and my inspirations, put them into these videos for you so that maybe you can get inspired. Now, by looking at my YouTube analytics, I know that a lot of you aren't in the typical Minecraft demographic. It's marketed towards kids, it's marketed towards the younger audience, but a lot of yourselves are my age, roughly, and you might not have any Minecraft content on YouTube that you enjoy watching because it's all kind of big and in your face. I'm not a big fan of it. I do enjoy some content, but most of it I really don't, but that's just me. And I'm assuming if I think that way, a lot of you might also think that way. So that's why I try and make my content different. That's why I try and gear it towards the more realism side. But I also see the trend of marketing Minecraft towards kids in Minecraft Education Edition. It makes sense. It's very easy to run on, say, Chromebooks or any sort of lower end device that kids could have access to because it's cheaper. And I see all these courses and guides or whatnot that Mojang or Microsoft are creating on mostly Bedrock Edition, I think. Like there's Marketplace, I'm not super familiar with it. But after being through this journey with Minecraft, I think there's so much more that could be done with Minecraft Education Edition, with Bedrock Edition, but not just taking the simple concepts of this is a building, this is a city, you should have trees in your city. Yeah, we know. I'm talking about the more in-depth structural systems. You have your shear walls, you have your beams, you have your columns, you have green building design systems, you have green roofs, you have skylights, windows. The orientation of the building matters. The site location matters, your water runoff, everything. I really think Minecraft could be applied at a much higher level than it currently is. So maybe that's something I'll do. Maybe I'll reach out to Microsoft. I do have contacts there. I haven't thought too hard about this yet. The idea just popped into my head actually a couple minutes ago. But even related to the higher level of education and Minecraft, last year I actually used Minecraft to get a preliminary design for our 4th year design project. I'm talking preliminary layouts, styles, orientation, and anything related to green building design, all your high performance building aspects. And this was about 2 years into making YouTube videos, so I felt pretty confident that I wouldn't be met with, oh, that's childish, because I was participating in entrepreneurship events. I was part of different accelerators just to learn, the business behind YouTube. And my group members, they loved it. They thought it was really cool. So since applying to the architecture program going into my 2nd year of university, where I thought it was childish to do that, I've changed my mind. And I really think that people in the profession think it's really cool now that I've talked to a lot of them. Minecraft is a very accessible tool. It's 3D, so it's not just 2D, it's an entire other dimension. There is an infinite amount of space. There's a lot more blocks now. You have multiplayer so you can collaborate, and you have all these social media platforms that you can share your creations on and get feedback. So I don't think Minecraft's going anywhere anytime soon. And I think the creative side of the game is going to grow a lot over the next few years. And I'm going to make sure that happens because people love it. They think it's really cool. And anybody who doesn't, well, they suck. And building in Minecraft can bring you way further than you ever think is possible. I was 12 years old. I had my iPod Touch. I was building anything under the sun. As I grew up, I continued to build cities, different buildings. I used Google Maps and Google Street View to create these really intricate buildings based on buildings I found in downtown Vancouver. And it inspired me to go into my architectural engineering degree, even though I wanted to do architecture. But I still enjoyed my degree, so win-win, I guess. And now that I've recently graduated, I just moved to Vancouver. And I live in downtown Vancouver. And I like to go for walks quite frequently. And I'll turn a corner, and I'll see a skyscraper. And I won't clue in for a minute or two. And then I'll think, I built that 10 years ago. I was standing right there on Google Street View, looking at my computer monitor, looking up at this building. Someplace that I've never been before. And I made this building, this sort of rendition, taking the styles, but making it my own. And now, because of that, I get to experience it every day. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you're probably thinking, okay, why did I choose this video to put my face in? Because I've never really done that before. I think it's important that as I try to continue to grow the creative side of the game, and to show people what's possible by just starting by playing Minecraft, it's nice to have a face behind it so that you know I'm serious about it. I'm taking a risk because I'm putting my face on the internet, which I don't really want to do, but I think it's important that I do anyway. Because I truly believe that Minecraft is going to create the next generation of architects and engineers who are going to shape this world. And if I can help to be a part of that, whether it's just providing some inspiration or showing you what you can do in a career, I think it would be really beneficial to this world. I'm working on a video series that shows my experiences throughout my degree in architectural engineering. And the idea is to show you the parts of it that I liked, that I didn't like, and what you can expect from a degree similar to mine. And there's definitely an overlap between a pure architecture program and architectural engineering, the technical side for the most part. But this video series will talk about my experiences in this degree, and hopefully what you'll get out of it is maybe a decision on whether or not you'll like the degree as well. It's not out yet. I'm still producing it. It's gonna take a very long time to make. But if you would like to be notified when it does come out, sign up for my email list in the description. My name's Matt. I have a degree in architectural engineering, and you're watching Alpine.